morning, the world starts quietly. One soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing. A spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Rouff, the Uncommon Kindness Guy. And this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Welcome to Kindness Rising. I'm Matt Rouff, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and I come here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to get you up with a little bit of hope, humanity, and heart. And let me ask you something. Have you ever had a brilliant idea, but at the worst possible time? Maybe you're in the shower, maybe you're driving, maybe you're half asleep at 2:30 in the morning, wandering around. I don't know. Your brain goes, what if we build a coffee shop and it only serves dogs? I don't know. And you're like, whoa, this is genius. You write it down. You wake up the next morning, look at the note, and it says, dog coffee. What? Wait, dog coffee? Welcome to the Ideation Stage. We are here today talking about business cycles, right? We talked about it yesterday. I am going to put this up here for our context again, although I said I might. I did say that I might improve it, make it look a little bit better, but yeah, I didn't do anything to it. I am just showing it to you as it is, where we're at. These are our business cycles. We reviewed them all, overviewed them yesterday, and today we're right here talking about the ideation stage, where we discover our ideas. The people that are visionaries and creatives, this is where they really, really thrive. We're exploring and researching, and the six strings of kindness rising that get activated during this time are curiosity and growth, vital to us during ideation stage. Welcome, Mike Sullivan, future life coach. I appreciate you out there in the chat, getting up and getting after it early in the morning with us here on Kindness Rising, as we do every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Absolutely. And we are talking about business cycles. We're talking about ideation, getting after it. We all have ideas, crazy ideas, right? About things. Oh, I wish, or you see something, you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? You know, that kind of thing. But every business in the world, it starts the same way, not with a product, not with a building, not even with a marketing plan, but a weird little thought that says, what if people bought books online? We might know someone who did that. What if we could stream movies instead of renting them? What if a phone could also be a computer? You get the point. At some point, these ideas existed only in someone's head. I think we know who we're talking about. And the usual first reaction was, that sounds ridiculous. I remember I was working in a bookstore. In Washington, D.C. Hello, Presley Jackson. Hello, Roseanne Rouff. Welcome. I am glad you have chosen to join us. Jess, yes, welcome back, Jess. I appreciate you from down in Kentucky. Yes, subscribe to the channel. Say hello out there. We're talking about business cycles today. We're getting into it a little bit different. Sometimes we talk about emotional things. Sometimes we talk about relationships. Sometimes we talk about business cycles. Sometimes we talk about marketing. These are the things I'm interested in, so I talk about them. Leadership. Let's keep talking. It's all good. It's all ideas. We're talking today about those ridiculous ideas that people came up with. Right? The Ideation Hall of Fame. I said, I was talking about Politics and Prose. I worked at Politics and Prose bookstore in Washington, D.C. in 1990. Yeah, then. Right as Amazon, and Amazon was only selling books, and we became a distributor of Amazon books. And people were like, "Amazon, what is this? What is this crazy thing with like the web?" At the time was really just a bunch of online brochures. There was no e-commerce. Nobody knew what was going on, and we were figuring it out there in the bookstore. I wasn't in the bookstore. I managed the coffee house in the bookstore, but I was around while that was happening, and we had a warehouse in the back, and people were printing these orders off and filling them, and nobody knew what was going on. It was crazy. And that's how Amazon started, from A to Z, for sure, as books. But anyway, those are all the ideas. These are the ideas that have changed the world. What if strangers paid to sleep in my house? When I'm there, when I'm not there. Hey, I've got a room in the basement. I'll just rent. What? People are going to pay you to live in your house, to stay in your house, to go on vacation and live in your house for a week? Yep. Airbnb, right? No one will buy books online. We talked about that one. What if we had a social media network and all we could do was 100 up to 140 characters? Nothing else, just 140 characters back. We know, right? And the greatest one of all, what if we built an entire theme park and an entire world around a cartoon mouse? Yeah, a little company called Disney, right? Turns out that idea worked out pretty well for them. And the lesson is, almost every breakthrough idea sounds strange at first. Breakthrough ideas like, what if we took human and AI, we brought them together, and we allowed the humans to be able to stand out live on streaming media, but interact with that AI that brings that knowledge and personality and entertainment, right? And what if we made it really easy for people to do that? That's what we're doing right here on the Mornings in the Lab Network, making it easy for people to do exactly what I'm doing here live. Not exactly what I'm doing, because I've steered away from the AI during Kindness Rising intentionally, by choice. The use of resources, where the resources go. I want resources to go towards helping other people to produce their shows. Check out the Mornings in the Lab Network. Definitely mitl.network. See all the great shows that are happening there. All right. So that's the commercial. I always announce my commercials. I'm like, yeah, all right, I got to get a little commercial in, but I hope that it's Curious Mornings in the Lab Network. Come and join us there. Jess, good morning again. Presley Jackson, I'm glad you are out there too. Mike Sullivan and Roseanne Rouff. Let's talk about those people, the people who lived in ideation, the certain people who thrive in ideation. There's the idea people, the curious ones, the what if thinkers, people like Steve Jobs. He imagined a computer in everyone's pocket. I've got one. Where's mine? Oh no, I didn't bring mine. I must have left it behind. That's too bad, because I was going to talk about something on mine, but I can still do that. Must have left it upstairs. Okay. Albert Einstein. Yeah. He imagined a few things, possibilities people see before the rest of us. I hear you. Isn't that interesting? Here it is. My computer in my pocket. And my wife just texted me. Oh no. She's telling me that her car is dead, and so she's taking mine. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So that's just the way it goes, for sure. Stephen Hawking was your favorite idea guy, Jess? All right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Every organization needs ideas. People are already thinking of them inside of your organization. So check it out. Be curious about those ideas, the ideas of other people. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So yeah, so that's what I was going to do. I was going to talk about my ideas. My ideas. I said, "Where's my phone?" There we go. All right. So I have a list on my phone right here. That's not the list. I was just showing you the cover screen. I'm opening it up right now. Here it is. Can anybody see that? It says business ideas on it because I just think of stuff. I just think of stuff. So here's some of the business ideas, the ridiculous ideas that I have had. How about this? Everyone knows I love cats. We love our cats. So what if we had a bar? You put the bar in your hand and it has whiskers and it kind of imitates it and it has ears that stick up so your hand becomes a cat head and you can nuzzle your cat because you know how cats nuzzle with each other. Just a bar with whiskers and ears turns your hand into a cat head and you can nuzzle your cat with your bar. Absolutely, that's an idea that I had. How about this one? Might be the most absurd one I've had ever. You guys know like frozen yogurt places, Sweet Frog. There's a couple other ones where you serve yourself yogurt, and then you top it, and then they charge you $1 bazillion per pound to do that, like soft serve ice cream, but usually it's frozen yogurt. Maybe they have ice cream ones too out there, right? Whatever it might be. My idea was one of those machines to do that, but instead of ice cream or yogurt, it drops pudding, banana pudding, chocolate pudding, vanilla pudding, pistachio pudding. Some people like pudding. I was on a pudding kick for a while, obsessed with it, right? And then adding toppings. Can you imagine chocolate pudding with some peanuts and some sprinkles and whipped cream? It's like a sundae. Super cheap product to produce. Do people like pudding enough to do a make your own pudding idea? That's pretty absurd. What else have I got here on here? How about my kids when they were growing up? They loved American Girl, the American Girl dolls. You know what I'm talking about? They were a big deal. Mom, if you're still out there listening, I know you were a big part of my kids' American Girl journey, right? They had the little different characters or whatever. What if they did American Girl all grown up and like watch the girls develop, right? It's amazing that they developed these dolls, and this one's an astronaut as a doll, and this one is a horse rider, and this one is a whatever, right? They're these different dolls inspiring kids that they can do things or whatever the case may be. What if we actually watch them grow? I don't know. That could be a show. The American Girls, all grown up. Because that's what my kids were. They were these little girls, little kids, and they grew up and they're growing. So that was my other idea. All right. And the last obscene idea that I have, because people are like, why is this guy sitting here talking about this weird stuff? Is how about this one? You guys know, oh my God, Ted Nugent? Not necessarily my favorite guy in terms of politics or whatever the case may be, but he had a very famous song. His most famous song, I think, was Cat Scratch Fever, 1970s kind of. It was kind of heavy metal at the time, I guess, right? Wasn't it Ted Nugent? I'm pretty sure it was. Cat Scratch Fever. Anyway, my idea for an app was called Cat Match Fever. It's basically a Twitter, or not Twitter, but whatever, a matching of oh my goodness, match.com, call it match.com, whatever, but for cats. Oh, I like this kitty, he's cute, blah 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 blah, and then you can adopt the cat, and it's swipe right, swipe left, and or I don't know. Cat Match Fever, that was my business idea. Insane. I just write stuff down. Just yeah, ladies dolls. I didn't mean ladies. I really didn't, and I didn't mean dolls either. I was talking about a show in particular, a program, some kind of thing, not adult-sized dolls. I didn't. Yeah, exactly. Somebody had to go there. Jess, it's okay. Yep, You had high tea at the American Girl doll store, Mom. I remember that. Absolutely, when you took the kids. So, yeah, that's, I think, one of the things that made me think of it, of course. Of course. Absolutely. See, for rescues, Jess, for rescues, yeah. Swipe left, swipe right. I don't want a black cat, I want an orange cat. I mean, there's different ways to do it, but I just thought of it more as being hysterical. Like, people are out there looking for the love of their life on Bumble and Match and all the other whatever, Tinder. I hope you're not going cat Tinder. That would be really, really weird, Jess. But those matchmaking sites, whatever, there's a million of them. Why not Cat Match Fever? They've got Farmer's Daughter and Catholic Match and Jewish Meetup and all these other ones. I've seen them out there. Not that I'm on any of them. I'm happily married. But you see them out there, you're like, what? Like these very specific, not specific, but community-based meetups, right? More rural people, or like they all have a vibe. So Cat Match Fever. That's the kind of insanity that comes to my brain. Filters and searching. I don't think so. It's probably, do you think it's more convenient to just swipe left and right, or you just go, okay, I want an orange male cat? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I was ever serious about exploring the idea, but hey, if it works for you, Jess, you can give me credit. I'll take the credit. All right. Anyway, coming back to reality instead of that weird little side journey into my ideas. Yeah, 6 strings of ideation. So we went back to our little, there we go, back to this. Remember, we're in the ideation phase, that first phase where ideas are bubbling up. And what are the strings that we talk about? Of course, we talk about curiosity. That's what it is. Curiosities. What if? Why not? What would happen if we did this, tried things differently, opened a door to new idea, took 2 ideas, mashed them together? One of my favorite exercises is in ideation is going opposites. Just thinking, okay, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but I've talked about it before. Should be a little more prepared, but just thinking about things the opposite way. Instead of walking up to the counter, what if the counter comes to you? I don't know. Right? That kind of idea. I don't know. Like that's how the drive-throughs, right? I was thinking about Sonic. I don't know why Sonic came into my mind, right? But like we all were trained, at least in our generation. The previous generation had their drive-throughs in the 50s and that kind of thing, right? My generation was trained to walk into McDonald's or go through a drive-through and keep going. Sonic reimagined that back to the old days where you did the pull-up and the car hops came out and that kind of thing. So it's asking, what if we did things a little bit differently? Absolutely. And of course, curiosity and ideation, it comes with growth. It comes with growth from experimentation, from trying new things, from learning new things, improving on them, and even ideas that fail can move an organization forward. Absolutely, that's the key. Is failure is okay. Absolutely. And so that's the lesson. That's the lesson for our leadership trick. Absolutely. Jess, vending machines. Yep. Vending machines are everywhere. I just like to pick up on every once in a while something. I really appreciate you, Jess, that you're so involved in the chat. You always are bringing ideas coming to us from down in Kentucky, Kentucky way. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Who knows what these ideas have? Absolutely, just failures teach us what not to do. Yep. Or what we can learn and take what we learn and move the rest into Okay, we learned from that, right? Take the good stuff, jettison the bad, and keep moving forward. Absolutely, absolutely. But here's the thing, I'm talking about this from a leadership perspective right now. Leaders have an important job during ideation. Sometimes they are the idea generator, right? Or sometimes they say, all right, I'm opening up to ideas, but they have to protect it, right? Because organizations become uncomfortable with new ideas. Status quo bias. We want to just keep things the way they are. Ideas can get messy. They're unfinished. Sometimes they sound ridiculous, right? And if leaders create every environments where every idea has to be perfect before it's presented, you miss out on a lot of opportunities to consider different ways to do things. I know I've worked in organizations where it was like, okay, on this day at this time, that's when you present your idea. And if you showed up with your idea and didn't have it fully honed and thought through, it was like ridiculed and moved on. And it's like, no, we're not, no, no. Sometimes it'd be like, come back, but it never came back. Or, those kind of things. We've worked in organizations. I know I have, in places where they want to keep you, right? No, nope, nope, that's not going to work because that's not going to work because we've got it all figured out. That's not going to work because, and when leaders create environments where every idea has to be perfect, people just stop sharing them. I'm not going to bring my proposal forward because I know I haven't thought of everything, but I need to bring it forward. If I bring it forward, I'm going to get knocked back down. Or if I bring it forward, am I going to be supported and asked critical questions and iterative and have a dialogue about it? Anyway, when people stop sharing those ideas, then the next breakthrough never happens. And that's dangerous for your organization. Absolutely. Writing the ideas down and reading them allows everyone to evaluate them critically and without interruptions. Absolutely, absolutely. That is a technique used for facilitating meetings. I appreciate what you're saying, Jess. I've used that technique absolutely when you're in a group, when you're with a team of people and you know people aren't speaking because there's dominant forces or non-dominant voices. They're writing down the ideas and putting the sticker on the wall, which feels a little corny, can feel corny with the group, right? Or the classic, you get into small groups and then you have one person read aloud the ideas of the group, those kind of things. But it's a way to bring those ideas together. Absolutely, group dynamics, team facilitation is a really important skill in leadership, in consulting, in bringing ideas forward, right? And absolutely, the opposite of that is exactly that, Jess. I like you, Jess. The opposite of that is that people get scared to speak up because the authoritarian leader, the rigid leader, the status quo leader, the risk averse leader will not create an environment where those ideas can be expressed. Absolutely. Appreciate it. And as we start to wind up or wind down this episode, here comes the warning because I'm guilty of this. And so I want to make sure that others don't fall prey to it. Ideation is fun, really fun. Brainstorming, whiteboard, sticky notes, possibilities, but where there's no risk involved, right? The actual idea of it, no risk involved in bringing that out. But there's a danger because it's easy to fall in love with ideation because it is safe. You can just be as wild as you want to be, right? Um, and then the team falls in love with that idea, new ideas, better ideas, more ideas, endless ideas, and nothing ever gets built. So at some point, ideation has to hand that baton to action because ideas only change when the world only change when someone actually builds them, right? But ideas are great, but until you actually build them, get in the trench and build them, that is that's the only way that your ideas come to work. I mean, it's just are going to work, are going to be executed. All right. Thank you so much, everyone who's out there in the chat this morning. I appreciate you coming here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to get up with a little hope, humanity, and heart. This week, we're focused on leadership lessons and business lessons as we move forward. Next week, something else. And I always like to hear about what our community wants to hear about. That's what we're doing. We're building a community here. So let's talk about things. Bring your topic ideas. I am completely open to it. This week, we're talking about business stages. We're going to talk about each stage in succession today. We're focusing on our ideation phase. Absolutely. Where is that? Aha, there we go. And then we're going to move into start. We're going to move into the startup phase next, where we're building our product, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So come on back for sure, for sure. But here's something I want you to think about today while I'm getting this off the screen. What idea have you been holding on to? Something that you haven't shared. Maybe it feels unfinished. Maybe it feels a little unusual, awkward. I got this idea, but I know it's half baked. I say that a lot of times. I know it's like a half baked. It's there, but how does this fit? Maybe you're not sure it'll work. But remember, every innovation starts the same way, with someone asking a simple question. What if? What if? What if we do things a little bit differently? Or what if we add 1 + 1? Will we get 2, or will we get 3, 4, 5, or 6? All those things might happen. And so here's your call for today. Here's your challenge. Share that idea. Go ahead and share the idea. Not a perfect plan, just an idea, because the next breakthrough in your business, on your team, in your community, in your life, just might begin with a single conversation based on that one idea. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what we know that ideas are fragile. They start small, they're often messy, but sometimes ridiculous. But every company, every invention, every movement, it starts the same way. Someone looked at the world and asked, what if? That's what we're doing right here on Mornings in the Lab Network. That's what we do on Kindness Rising as part of our daily dedication to getting up with hope, humanity, and heart, not hitting the snooze button, and sticking around for Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. So thanks for sticking around with me today, hanging out here on Kindness Rising. We're going to keep the train a-rolling on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. I appreciate you, Jess. I appreciate you, Roseanne. I appreciate you, Mike Sullivan, and Presley Jackson, who came and joined us today. Whoever else is out there, come on back, subscribe to the channel, and get involved. See you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Kindness Rising. And until then, stay uncommon and stay kind. What if your mornings could be inspiring and ridiculously fun?
Kindness Rising isn't just a show, it's a full wake-up vibe.
It's freaking fun, people.
Yeah, man, it's got real get-after-it energy.
I love it.
Wake up with Kindness Rising.
I help purpose-driven people grow their impact. 5-ingredient recipe to help you build your personal brand. Get out there and take kind action.
If it's live, they'll feel it.
On Kindness Rising, we bring you proven strategies and fresh ideas you can actually use. If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Exactly. Fail fast, rebound faster.
You'll see the bloopers and the genuine connections that make kindness contagious, we sometimes get into a little bit of trouble.
Pretty much my life made the list.
You can trust what you see right here is honest, respectful, and uplifting. Social impact organizations, and we always talk about them. Try kindness. It's way cheaper than therapy. You just made my day.